Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Mordechai. So, we'll start off with a couple of pictures here. We have here, he says, my name is Yankee Glassman. I joined the shir because of Akiva Solkowitz. I recruited a few guys, made a small MDY Chabur in the morning, we daf together. For those naysayers, I've seen some amazing things happen to me since I started dafing. Whether in business, personal, it's obvious that it didn't come out of nowhere. He wants to do a shout out to Elon Musk because here he is at the Tesla supercharger station. I guess you can watch the hit. He wants to do a unique thing. Yankee Glassman, shout out to Velvy Angel, forgot his Atzala number, for pushing me to send this email. Here's another guy. Gedalia Apple, watching the shear, doing 78 miles an hour on the highway. But not to worry about it. He's in autopilot. Don't worry about it. Yesterday I had the zechus to go visit my son's cheder. So I don't know, you want to show the video clip? So here, let me give you a little background before he shows the clip. I went there and the Manal made me go to every class, the whole thing. Huh? You wore yarmulkes? I've been there in a long time. They built the new buildings the first time I was there since the new building. And I went into my son's class. My son told my wife that if I'm coming to school, make sure that I don't go into his class. And I'm Mevayishim. So of course that was the first place I went. I'm a big I told him I can't go in there. So he went and he convinced the whole. And then I gave the kids a hair. I said, okay, let me ask them some questions. Without preparing, I couldn't believe it. I asked Mordechai question. I asked him about the Gadish and Shabbos and Yom Kippur. He said, you know the halach of Kamle B'dirabinei, 11-year-old listening to Shir, Daf Yomi, a whole daf. And we have on video Yomi. Yomi, come here for a second. Come here and show the clip. Meanwhile. And it's in Hebrew, of course. So I said if he knows the difference between the halachas and zav, between a zav that saw 2 riyas, 3 riyas, I'll give him 50 shekel on the spot. And he knew it cold in a second. And then I said, that's not fair. What about the difference between musgar and muchlet and mitzayra? He told me. Right there. Yoey, where's my change? Great job. Yoey, 11 years old, Daf Yomi, it works. Please keep my name anonymous. However, please put my name in the opening page of the next Masechta because he's donating $1,000. Be'emes, that's what it says there. If you donate money, you get to be on the front page. Then he wants his name embedded, l'doiris, in an Archul Gemara. Why not? I think it's a great thing, but he doesn't want his name here. He says like this: the fact that I knew that a crazy guy who flew his own plane and sold his house without asking his wife, I decided to give it the shir a shot. I guess he knows me from Chicago. I think I know who this guy is. And then he goes on to say, the daf has become a staple in my morning commute. On days I don't finish the train ride, I finish the train ride home. And listen to this line, because I want to go back to this during this year. It is truly remarkable that I've been able to make the daf a part of my daily routine, and I don't even feel like I've taken on anything more. We'll get back to that line. I'm eternally grateful for what you're giving me in each passing day. I heard your final request a few days ago. My wife and I would like to sponsor $1,000 towards the art school Megillah shortfall. I would also like to sponsor something that's zechus shiduchim for my 2 sisters-in-law. So, fine. That's that. Rabbi, so you guys remember, I had the guy here, Sender Gross, from Reshit, who embarrassed me in public. I said we got 50 guys from Reshit, and he comes up here and says, no, it's 43. Here he is again, Sender Gross. Here, talking about the Daf Yomi, finishing. I'm extremely proud to update you on the unbelievable new number of 62 guys in yeshiva doing the daf with MDY Gemaras. But I need an eitzah. Guy came over to me. He says, I can't do the daf anymore. Can I return the Gemara? Can I give it away? I asked him why I can't do it. I'm too far behind. I'm 4 daf behind. Can I catch up? I can't catch up. This guy was on fire for the first 4 daf. It was the first time I personally saw him learning himself. He was even pushing all the other guys too. He loves the shir and all the shtick. Gemara has finally become fun for him. But he hit a bump in the road. What can I tell him to help him out? Anyway, the point, I think I said in the yeshiva, maybe I said in another yeshiva, you just skip to what everybody else is holding. Forget about the dapim that you missed, that you'll never make up. Maybe one day when you have time, you'll sit down. But right now, skip ahead. That is the eitzah. I got a very, very long email from a Yungerman in Koilo. He says, first I want to start off, anytime they start off like this, it's really, really bad. I first want to start off how much of a fan I am. You really make my learning enjoyable for me. Everyone in my Koilo knows that I'm your number 1 fan, always saying over your cute shtiklach, printing out the Arha Merkaz weekly, and having sugar befi. It's geschmack to do that. And of course, I'm an MDY missionary here. It's a long email. This is one of the longest emails, 4 pages long, and I'm obviously not going to read it. But he goes into the whole thing about shatnas, tchelas, and he didn't like the way that I knocked the Regina Rebbe, who was a Gol Adar, and Nukal Atar Kula, and he gave me a musar on that, so I'll take his musar. You shouldn't think you lost a Talmud Chas v'Shalom. I'm still a religious listener and continue recruiting more guys, but if the shir can take on a new slogan, thank you for everything, partly based on a shir of D.A. Kleinman. His name is Shalom Y. Felder from Wycliffe, Ohio, Koilo. My name is Gabriel Kramer. I'm 13 years old. I live in West Hempstead, New York. Just completed the Maseches Times, my very first siyum, along with my father. Hope to make many more. And I think that's it for today. We have a lot more. I want to say this because yesterday, middle shir, I decided not to say a joke that I was going to say because I thought maybe it's not so bakavadik. I told the guys after shir the joke, and it was. I'm going to tell you the joke because Rav Hutner said the joke. So I'm very happy that Rav Hutner said the joke. My chavrusa asked me not to say the joke. I told my chavrusa the joke. I said, what do you think over here? And I said, the bigger nace of what we had yesterday, that he put 72 skenim in different houses and they all came up with the same thing, Baruch HaKodesh, 15 changes. And I said, as a joke, the bigger nace is that he put them into 72 houses, because imagine if you take 72 Talmid Chachamim, Sanhedrin, put them in one room, the arguments and the machlokes, how we should say it, I'm not saying it. So the bigger nace is that he separated them. He says, no, you can't talk like that about Sanhedrin, please don't say that joke. So I didn't. But it says over here that Rav Hutner observed the big deal. The real kunz would have been if they had been in the same room, says Rav Hutner. That would have been a bigger nace. Okay? Baruch Shekivanti. And that's it for today. Rabbi Isai. Here we go. I got to say this. A guy from the shir, I didn't want to talk about it during shir. I didn't think it was the right thing at the time to talk about it. A guy, Hillel Kamiansky's good friend, I'm not going to go into any names here. Maybe I gave away too much. I say it a different time? No. Okay. He knows a person who decided, since he himself struggles with the device, spending way too much time on the device, watching movies, etc., he said he'll give $1,000 to MDY for each person who decides to stop watching movies on their phone until Purim. For a total of $20,000, up to 20 people. MDY gets $20,000, and so I said, I'm not going to go into it. I don't want to talk about it and push it, but behind the scenes, Nissan will put it on the chat. In 7 hours, 30 people signed up. So MDY made $20,000 yesterday, so I want to give a shkach to that person. And also to the people that are taking upon themselves extra stuff. Chol hakavod to them, freeing up time to spend with family and learn more Torah. There's a shortfall. If that would give me 30 people signed up. You're going to give 1,000. Do we have another 9 people? He's not going to give 1,000 of them 9 people? Okay, fine. Give Aldik. But I thought there was a Google Doc that only 20 people signed. Okay. 30 people signed. A Belzer Chassid wrote, and it's all private stuff. I got to see it. He wrote, he says, I don't watch movies, but I'm taking it upon myself not to look at statuses during the day. It takes up 90 minutes of my day. I'm freeing up 90 minutes, he said. Thank you to whoever sponsored. I'm doing 2 things, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Not going to look at status. Beautiful. The Paras HaChodesh. Wow, it's late. Sorry, guys. Paras HaChodesh for the Koilels. Chayim. Lim Nishmas Yishuari. Leyb HaKohen Ben Yonis and Chayim. Zechus Avraham. Maseches Megillah. Sponsored by the Davis and Kessler families in zechus for Refuah shleima for Miriam Esther Bas Devora. Baruch Atah Adonai. Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh b'dvoroi. Maseches Megillah, sponsored by Shmuly Hecht, F245. Yonish Master Mordechai shleima פינחס טוביה, zechus Abraham and Avraham Moshe Peretz Ner Yoy, Parnas HaChodesh. In honor of RL97 Akiva Tepper for introducing me to Rebbe El's Daf. Parnas HaChodesh. Lenny Kanarek, zechus Refuah shleima for Gavril Minyan ben Tzirel Fruma. Evan Weinstein. My father-in-law's yard side. Lipman ben Yitzchak Tzvi. Lenny Kanarek. May his neshoma have an aliyah. Mother-in-law should live healthy, continue to have nachas from grandchildren. Please ask Hashem to bless us with many, many cars to sell. Those two words are very key, because last time I think the same person wrote for many cars, and I made a little fun of him. Kalman Oppenheimer, Nishma has used Bas Mordechai Tzvi HaKohen Fega on the occasion of 50 yard site. Wonderful mother, grandmother. Well, don't worry about it. We're going to finish everything today. It's very easy stuff today. Mordechai Stefansky, Nishma's great grandmother, yard site, Rebbetzin Rachel Eli Rabin. Rachel, you know what? You don't understand how much I cut out. Look at all these pictures. There's a stack like this of emails, and good ones, great ones. It's getting tough now. Eventually we're going to do 40 minutes of emails and 5 minutes of daf. The Raf and Welcher families. Oh, the Welcher family. Where's Mendy? I got to go with him tonight. The upcoming marriage, the evening of the children, Mordechai and neshoma. The zechus should be aliyah. And zechus to build a bayis number Yisrael. Amen. All right, the boys' side. Here we go. Daf Yud today, but we're holding by the Mishnah on the bottom. Well, the second to last Mishnah. And we continue with the theme of Ein Bein Zeh Lezeh, the difference between two different things. Ein Bein Bama Gdoila LeBama Ktana Ella Psachim. Oh, sponsor. Here we go. Laslacha Ruchni Shimshon David. We thought we finished. Laslacha Gdoila of Ruchni is Shimshon David Lipa ben Yehuda's Beila and Yosef Yehuda ben Yehuda's Beila. Okay. So it goes like this, something approximately like this. When Moshe Rabbeinu erected the Mishkan in the Midbar, you cannot have a bama. A bama is a mizbeach. There's a bama gdoila where you bring the korbanos tzibur. We'll see the difference between the two. At a bama ktana, you have in your backyard a little stage. You throw a little shepsel on there. You makriv HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When there was, just to remember, I guess in a general sense, when there was a Mishkan, a Beis HaMikdash, no bama. In between periods, yes bama. So throughout the Midbar, when there's a Mishkan, no bama. Once they entered Eretz Yisrael, they had 14 years of kibush, they were conquering the land. Those 14 years, there were bamas. Then they went to Shiloh for 369, a long, long time. No bama. Then there was Churban Shiloh, yes bama. No even Giva. Then they built a Beis HaMikdash, no bama. Okay, so when there's a massive Beis HaMikdash and a massive Shiloh, massive Mishkan, no bama. But what is the difference between a large bama, the main bama, and the bama ktana? Ella psachim. So we're going to see that psachim, a carbon pesach, really means that it has these three things to it. Any carbon that's a carbon tzibur that comes from the community, and you must bring it, and it has a specific time, that's a carbon pesach. And like a carbon pesach, and memela, it's only on a bama gdoila. Do not bring a carbon pesach in your backyard. Zaklal, kol shu nidav v'nidar. Somebody just wrote an email. I forgot his name. I printed it, but I didn't have time. But I love it because I was looking for how do you remember what a neder and a nidav is? It's confusing. Neder is harei alai. I accept it upon myself. Nidav is harei zu. You point to this animal. If this animal dies, you don't have to bring another animal. So he said in the name of Rabbi Belsky, I think, that Nidava has the word daiv, a beer. And where do you see a beer? In a zoo. Harei zoo. Harei zoo, Nidava. If you just want to remember. I was looking for something to, hopefully I remember it. A daiv in a zoo. Harei zoo. Okay. Kol shu nidar v'nidav kar bebama. V'chol she'enoi lo nidar v'lo nidav enoi kar bebama. Says the Gemara, Psachim Sulai. What? It's only Psachim? Ema, Kaim Psachim. Anything that has these attributes, and you look in the bottom over here, it says, what's not Kavua's man that is not in this category? Parchatos, Sirchatos, if Klai Yisrael does a major Aveira, a lot of them. Or Kavua's man. What else is like a Carbon Pesach? Carbon Tamid. Every morning you have to bring Carbon Tamid, and this is this time. And the Musaf. Musaf Shabbos, Musaf Chodesh, Yontif. Mani, this goes, what? Mani Reb Shimoni. The Sanya Reb Shimon Omer Av Tzibur Lo Yikrivu El Psachim V'Chayvos Shekavu Alem Zman. Again, so you have the idea of the Tzibur, carbon Tzibur Lo Yikrivu El Psachim V'Chayvos. Here the Chayv Shekavu Alem Zman. That's why I put that in here. You have a Tzibur, Chayva, and Zman. Then they had to use the Yomi Megillah. V'Chayvos Shein Kavu Alem Zman. Hachavacha Lo Yikarav. You don't bring it not here and not over there. Not, in other words, not a Yomi Megillah, not a Yomi Megillah. Says the Heilige Mishnah sponsored, the official Mishnah sponsored the zechus Shimshon David Lipa ben Yudas Beila and Yisviuda ben Yudas Beila. Ei ben Shilo Yerushalayim elo shebeshiloi oichlin kochim kalim. Now, Shiloh exists today. They claim they know where it is. I printed out here. This is the Mishkan, right? This is what a Mishkan looks like. This was in the Midbar. When Moshe Rabbeinu erected the Mishkan the second year, this is what it looked like. Now, when I did the little research, there's a shul in Shiloh today that looks like the Mishkan. So if you look closely, see there's this fabric on top and it has this V. So this is what the shul looks like today. It's an aerial view. I saw other pictures without that roof, so I'm not sure if this is pasted on, if it's Photoshop. It doesn't look like it. I love the fact that over here in the picture, there's that plastic Keter chair upside down. You see, it's not that Photoshopped. What? You see, it's authentic. Yeah. It has that roof. It has that roof. Okay.
He would know.
And they said that you see outside of Shiloh, they found a lot of archaeological finds of broken cheres. Where we're going to see that when you see Shiloh, here we go. So supposedly people would be far away and they would use their kelim over there, tumma, not tumma. Okay.
Inside as well, they're like the Mishkan.
What?
They also think inside they're like the Mishkan.
Yeah, you see the ramp to this here. Inside it looks like these are the beams the Mishkan is made out of. Okay, inside he says also looks like it. One day we'll get there. You could eat in Shiloh, you could eat kachim kalim, meaning like shlamim, a korban pesach, taida, that sort of thing. Meiser sheni. So what's meiser sheni? Again, because if you're part of MDY, you know this chart by pet. Because people wrote to me that, when we're talking about ziva, mitzayra, the switch turns off. Immediately you go to sleep, you start spacing out. Not here. Now we know what ziva is, mitzayra is, we know what trumas and meisers are. Not complicated at all. If you have produce, you have to give right away truma g'dayla to the kahn 2%. Now from the 98% that you're left with, you give 10% to the Levi. You give 10%. Now, whatever is left from that, step 3 is you give yourself trumas meiser. No, the trumas meiser is the Levi gives 10% from what he gets. Then, step 4, it's also step 3, 4, because this is not you. Step 3 for you is meiser sheni. On what years? 1, 2, 4, 5. 10% to yourself. So now, that 10% that you give to yourself, which you must bring to Yerushalayim, or in Shiloh, Oichlin Kachim Kalim, Meiser Sheni, B'chol HaRoya. Says Rashi, any place that you could see Shiloh from. That's Shitas Rashi, the entire city of Shiloh. Some Rishonim say you have to see the actual Mishkan of Shiloh. You have to see, let's say, this. I don't know, was it built on the spot? I don't know. I have no idea. No, okay, that's a different spot. That wouldn't be so nice. But in Yerushalayim, in order to eat all the stuff, you have to eat within the walls of the city. You have to eat Meiser Sheni, not just seeing Yerushalayim from a distance. You can't stand in Ramot and say, oh, I see Yerushalayim. That you can do for Shiloh. But not in Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim, you have to be within the walls. V'kan, both in Shiloh and Yerushalayim, the real strong korbanos, like a chatas, like a asham, must be eaten within the kloim, within the walls of the Migdash. Here, if we have this, I don't know if you can see. In here, this is where you eat it. In this area, right here. That's it. Up here a little bit. Obviously, you can't go in here, not over here. This is where you're eating. Okay. Kedusha Shiloh, top of Yud, Amud Aleph, Yesh Achrei Heter. Once there's a Churban Shiloh, there was, after 369 years, it was destroyed, then you could make a bama. The only time you can't have a bama, a private mizbeach, is when Shila exists. When the Beis Hamikdash, once there's a churban, you can make a bama. U'kedushas Yerushalayim, says the Mishnah, ein acharei heter. So this Tana holds that once Yerushalayim is destroyed, there's no more bamas going on. Says the Gemara, Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, Shamati shemakrivim beveis chonyoi bizman hazeh. Here's the story, Rabbi Yisai. Great story. There was Shimon HaTzadik, the first Kohen Gadol of the Bayis Sheni. He's buried today in Yerushalayim. A lot of people go. There's a lot of issues there with the Arabs, the whole thing. Before he died, he told his son, Chanyoi, the second son, you're going to be the Kohen Gadol. Now, according to one man, the Omar, Chanyoi was a tzaddik. He was a mevater. He decided that his other brother, Shimi, should be the Kohen Gadol. Shimi became the Kohen Gadol. Chanya got really jealous. He saw all the honor and the whole parade and the this and that. He got jealous. So he goes to his brother and he tells him, listen, the first day, I don't know, it's a crazy story. The first day that you come into Beis Hamikdash, you should wear your wife's dress. That's the tradition. Maybe there's a reason why Shimon HaTzadik didn't want, he didn't know as much. She shows up at the Beis Hamikdash in a dress. So they say, what's going on there? They want to kill him. Sugar, come into the Beis Hamikdash in a dress. So he says, no, it wasn't me. My brother Chanya did it. So they go to Chanya. Chanya had to run away. They want to kill Chanya. So he runs away and he goes to Mitzrayim. And in Mitzrayim, he builds himself a Beis Hamikdash. The machlok is if that Beis Hamikdash was for Avodah Zarah or for Beis Hamikdash. So, Omer Yitzchak, Shamati, anyway, you see from here, by the way, if the Galadar, Shimon HaTzadik is the Galadar, he tells you something, you do it. You don't start being a super tzaddik on the cheshbon of the Gadol. The Gadol says, you're the Kohen, End of story. Don't start, but I feel bad for my brother. That's it. What happened is, a churban happened. He goes and he makes a Beis Hamikdash over there. Obviously, he holds. If you bring a carbon in Mitzrayim, then it's not Avodah Zarah. Because of a Kedusha Rishayna, Kitchel L'Shat, but the Kitchel L'Asa Lavai. So now we're going to do a little bit of a sugya. So a question of whether the Kedusha of Yerushalayim that was there, does it last forever or not? And this has ramifications on the Yemazeh, Trumas and Maestras, different things. If there's Kedusha in Yerushalayim. The Chsiv. So, if like Kitchel there's no Kedusha, I could bring a bama in there. If there is Kedusha, then the original Kedusha remains. It's like I have a Beis Hamikdash still. I can't bring a bama in there. The Chsiv, Kilevasem, Adata, La Menucha, La Nachla, Menucha, Zoi Shiloi, Nachla, Zoi Yerushalayim, and Makish, Nachla, Menucha. So we have a Hekesh. We have the two things in the same pasuk. Menucha, Nachla, one means Shiloi, one means Yerushalayim, and they're the same. Ma Menucha Yeshachrei Heter, Af Nachla Yeshachrei Heter. Just like by Shiloh, we said once there's a churban, that's the top words in today on this Amud, Yesh Achrei Heter. In other words, once Shiloh is destroyed, you could bring in a bama. So to Yerushalayim. In other words, there's no Kedusha, it goes together. Amr Lei, so they tell her, it's like, Amarta, you said such a thing. You really did? Amr Lei, lie. He lied. He's embarrassed. No, I never said such a thing. Amr Ava Elikim, Shvuah. Yeah, Elohim, it's a Shavuot, you're right. Elohim. Amara, you said it. Don't lie. I learned it from you. And why did he take it back? Why did he retract? What's the question that Ramari asked that he had to take it back? What's the Ramari? In our Mishnah, Kedusha Shiloi yesh achrei heter. Kedusha Yerushalayim ein achrei heter. That's it. It says Mufurish that the Kedusha Yerushalayim remains forever. You can't put up a bama. What do you tell me? You can bring a bama. That's true. Abamois. Learn it in the Mishnah. Once they came to Yerushalayim, the Bamas became possible. There's no heter. Interesting. If you found out and Ma'aser Shai had happened, person sitting in yeshiva and the Rashiva comes over to him, come to my office, got to talk to you. We found out that your mother is a guy, and mainly you're a guy. What would you do?
I got a cheeseburger, double bacon.
Double bacon cheeseburger. It happened to the guy you were learning with. Get over here, Rabbi Grievin. Get over here. I can't believe it. Emes and Maisa? What happened?
Sitting in Osanet,
Yeah.
and his mother's very upset he's coming from. Sends him a letter and says, "You're not Jewish. I'm a conservative convert. According to you guys, I'm not Jewish. Therefore, you're not Jewish." He threw his yarmulke off, ran to the room, grabbed his backpack, and sprinted out. Got to the bus station, went to the airport for him to grab it.
And that's it. That was the end of him. You never saw him again.
Checked him out, Vancouver. I wasn't affected.
He's a guy. He ran away from yeshiva. Maisa Shaya. I heard this Maisa. They were talking about it yesterday.
Last week, all over the news. Last week,
That guy became a ger, though.
Huh?
That guy became a ger. This guy was
Reb Shimshon Pinko says, so think about what you would do. Reb Shimshon Pinko says he would go and be makriv a carbon on a bama. Because a guy could be makriv a carbon. The guy in Panovich said he would drink Coca-Cola with the Hecht of Landau.
That is the Hecht.
Yeah, that is the Hecht. And he doesn't drink it though, because it's treif, chazer. But for one day he'll drink that Coke, become a ger afterwards. I'm not going to tell you what they do in Tifrach. Yeah. Yeah. Zok the Gemara. So when they were doing construction, you have to erect walls to do construction and everything. So they built the walls. Now, why did they build the walls? The Gemara understands perhaps they built the walls to bring kedusha in there, to make it kadosh. So it goes like this: I think this is very effective, this chart, because it could be a little confusing if you try to figure it out yourself. So I'm going to help you out here. These red walls are the walls that they erected. The gray is what I got off the internet, and those are what they're going to build. That's the construction site. So, if you're building the Azara walls, these guys, you build your wall outside of it so that the wall that you're erecting could be inside. Because you're allowed to be here. You're allowed to stand there. There's no problem. So you put the wall outside of it. So you could build inside of it. That's mibifnim. Mibifnim means that the wall that you're erecting is inside of it. But when it comes to the heichal, it's gone already. This is Kodesh HaKodashim right over here. You're not allowed to go in here. Nobody goes in here. Very few Kohanim get to go in here. And only one gets to go in this white area over here, the Kodesh HaKodashim. In the blue, hardly anybody goes. That's where the menorah is. That's where the Ketores is. The Shulchan. So what do? They build a red wall inside of it so that you can never step into the heichal space by mistake. So it's mbachutz. Where are you building the gray? Outside of the red. Over here you're building the gray inside of the red. Okay? Very simple. Once you see it, it becomes very clear. If you don't know what it means, just go back to this picture over here. The wall that they're building is mibifnim, or outside of the red wall, mibachutz. I heard that you could bring a carbon in the area of the Beis Hamikdash, obviously, even though the walls are gone. There's a churban abayis, it's gone. You could take a chatos and eat the parts that you're allowed to eat, even though there's no walls. The lesser level of kedusha of a carbon pesach, of a nazir carbon, let's say, a taida, those umaiser sheni, even though there's no wall around Yerushalayim. Over here we have a Tana that says that the Kedusha remains forever. Why does Rebbe Lezer say you have to erect these walls on the inside, on the outside? Because Rebbe Lezer holds obviously the Gemara holds right now the fact that he's erecting all these walls everywhere. Here, going back to this picture, why does he have to put up the red? Because you need a temporary wall to bring Kedusha in there. And maybe even Rebbe Lezer holds the Kedusha remains. So if the Kedusha remains, why do you need to invent new Kedusha through walls? Umar ma'idishmi lekamar. He only said over what he heard, and we'll explain. Umar ma'idishmi lekamar. V'chitei mekloim le'relez lamali. And why? Listen to Yusuf Alma. Just so that there's some privacy. The kohen are not out in the open performing avodas and shechting korbanos. You need a wall, not because of kedusha. Elo k'hanit tanoi. So Rabbi said, does anybody remember? I should really ask Yomi, but I'll ask the adults first. And if they don't know, Yomi will jump in. What are the 3 halachas that we learned so far in this Masechta regarding the wall around Yerushalayim? Not everybody together, please. Anybody?
See it, then you can learn Megillah.
Oh, Megillah. What else? Bati Arachayma. If you and Mitzayra. Very good. Mitzayra. Okay, Nachman helped everybody out here. Mitzayra has to leave the walls of Yerushalayim. And Bati Arachayma, anything within those walls, if you sell a house in there, you only have 1 year to redeem, and then it goes away to the guy that bought it forever and ever, even in Yovel. Whereas if you sell a house outside of the walls, you can, whenever you feel like, you go back and get your house, and if you don't, it comes back to you on Yovel. Those are the 3 halachas that we learned. There is a 4th one, supposedly. I don't even know what it is, in Maseches Megillah. But it seems like Rashi says that there's only 3. The Sanya, Omer Bishmal B'Reb Yosi. Now, remember this name. It says in Erechin, in the name of Rabbi Shmuly, the son of Rabbi Yosi. Why did Chachamim talk about 9 cities that have a wall? Because when Klai Yisrael came back in the time of Ezra, and they were Mekadesh those 9, but anything else, as many other cities, they don't have Kedusha. Why did they have to be Mekadesh these 9 cities? And the fact that all the other cities don't have Kedusha just shows the Kedusha doesn't remain. Veriminu, Omer Bishmal Berebi Yosi. Here's his name again. The same person that we just said, this halacha that there's no Kedusha in Yerushalayim. There's 60 cities that had a wall. They had very tall walls. So then why did they only count 9? Because when Klai Yisrael came and they found these cities, they were Kaddish. Kitchum Hashta. Why did they have to be Kaddish? Ella Matzu Selu Umenom. They weren't Kaddish. In other words, there's no need to be Kaddish. Why? Because there's Kedusha. A second ago, the same Rishon said there's no Kedusha. Sponsored by Aaron Struk in honor of my parents Josh and Naomi Struk and Lezech Nishmas Aaron Shimon HaKohen. Sponsored in honor of Rabbi and Mrs. Avraham Yaakov and Sarah Levin by their children. Any city, even in Chutz La'aretz. Well, not really. It depends on the halacha. What's Kol HaMitzvah Halalu? Maybe. Kol HaMitzvah Halalu, Megillah, Mitzayra, and Batei Arachayma. So, Kasha the Rishmal. Here he says, the Kedusha remains forever and ever. You don't have to be Mekadesh anything. The Kedusha stays there. A second ago he says that you have to be Mekadesh. And they were only Mekadesh 9 out of the 60 cities. Because you have to be Mekadesh. So which one is it? Answer number 1. We have a contradiction. It's a true contradiction. So we must say there's 2 students that one thought Rabbi Shmuly said this, and the other one said that. It's his son, the son of Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Yosi, not Rabbi Shmuly, Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Yosi, his brother, Asher Loi Chayma. We had this in this Masechta. It says in the Torah, Loi with the Aleph. There's no wall, but we read it Loi with a Vav. If you look in the Chumash, it has both. I showed you then in the article. It has both. What's the pshat? The pshat is because it actually means both. It means that it has a wall now and didn't have a wall. It had a wall then, it doesn't have a wall now. There's no wall today. Loi with the Aleph. There's no wall. But there was a wall beforehand. Now, Rabbi Isai, we're going to start darshaning for the next 5-6 dapim, the psukim in the Megillah. Vayihi b'mei Achashverosh. Achashverosh. Omar Levi. V'itema Rabbi Yonason. Davis and Kessler biyodenu ma'anshei knesses hagdola. We have a tradition. Anytime the pasuk says the word vayihi, there's a lot of pain and aggravation going on in Klal Yisrael. For instance, this is the morning minyan. There's no banging in the morning minyan. Once in the beginning, once in the end. Yeah, very good, very good. Havarav. Vahi goes together with famine. Vahi gechel adam l'roiv. Vahi again. There's Vayar Hashem ki rabba ras adam. Terrible stuff going on in the world. Vahi benasa mikedem. Havan ir. Let's build a tower in Shemayim. Vahi b'mei amrafel. And this is one of the ones that remains because it says Vahi b'mei amrafel. Asu milchama, war. Vahi b'yais Yeshua b'richai. V'charba shlufa b'yadai. What was the terrible thing that happened with Yeshua? What? Very good. My brother from another mother, Yosef Erman, Givaldik. Bittul Torah. The Malach gave him Musar. V'char shlufa. Who's v'charba? The Malach came and said, "What are you doing?" Afterwards, I was thinking, maybe I didn't emphasize enough. I used to have chayalim. I had a chayal living in my house. I gave him a room when he was doing his thing, and he used to come every Shabbos. He used to tell us what goes on there. First, you're eating, they give you a full week. They give you tuna. Whether you like tuna or not, and a lot of people hate tuna, that's all you get to eat. Tuna. They train you. Tuna, vizel. You don't get anything else. Zero. Tuna. Right? You know about this? Tuna Stefansky's. Then, the amount of miles that you walk, it's unbelievable. You're exhausted and they wake you up 4 a.m. and do 100 push-ups, the whole thing. But when it comes at night, you gotta learn Torah. You gotta learn Torah. What's wrong with you? Char b'shlufa. And I told you about did I tell everybody? When I went to the Air Force base, they were learning Torah there. There's like 50 guys doing the daf there. On the base, in the middle of the day. Shiurim, the whole thing. Fine. Says the Gemara, you gotta learn Torah, but it's very difficult. But still there's a taina. Vayi, what?
Maybe we should get on the army bases.
Oh, we should give out Gemaras in the army, but they speak Hebrew. Okay, that's your job. Avigar Gear is going to the army bases. Let's see you pick up some guys there. Vayi Hashem is Yeshua. Again, Vayi Malu b'nei Yisrael, they were chayta. Vayi Eshachad min Masayim, Vayi Kis Chanoev, Hashem Sogar Rachman was a terrible thing because she didn't have children. Vayi Kizakin Shmuel. V'layachal baram b'drachav. They went off the derech. Terrible thing. Vayi David l'chol drachav maskil. Vashem imay. Very interesting that Rashi over there says, Vayi David l'chol drachav maskil. Maskil means matzliach. So, I forgot who says it, that a lot of times people look at a person and say, look, he's a maskil, he has seichel. Oh, he's so successful, he did Bitcoin and he made millions. No. It has nothing to do with seichel. It has to do with Vashem imay. Don't think it's maskil. These people are matzliach, it's not because they have seichel. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave them a gift.
Why is this bad?
What?
Why is this bad?
Oh, Vayi David l'chol drachav maskil. Listen, Vayi Shol Ayin as David. He gave him Oyen as David. He gave him Ayin Hara. Vayi Kiyoshav Amel bebeisoi. And David was sitting. This is talking about David. You're not going to be able to build a base in English. Terrible stuff. Voksiv Estigmar. Now, so you tell me Vayihi is terrible stuff. The Torah is full of Vayihis that are very happy things. Voksiv Vayihi Bayim Hashmini. The 8th day of Chanukas HaMishkan. V'tan Yosayog. It's a beautiful day. It was equal to HaKadosh Baruch Hu like the day he created the world. And we know Ksiv Hacha Vayi Bayim Hashmini, Ksiv Hasam Vayi Boker Yom Echad, Mamish, Gzer Shava. Says Gemara, yeah, but it was a sad day. Hashchiv Nadav Avihu, because Nadav Avihu died that day. Boksiv Vayi B'Shmonim Shana V'Arba Meis Shana. Shlomo Melech started building the Beis Hamikdash 480 years after Yitzias Mitzrayim. Boksiv. So it's a very nice thing. What was wrong with Yaakov? Noticed Rachel for the very first time, his future wife. Creation, beautiful, simcha. The second day, Yom Sheni, there's many others. Says Omer Avashi. You're right. If it just says the word Vayi, it could be bad, it could be good. Vayi bimei, but those two words together, bimei, ener loshen sar. Chamisha, Vayi b'mei havu. There's in fact only 5. I actually checked it up. I thought maybe, let's see, maybe I can find another one. We'll have to come up. No. There's only 5. Maybe may Abu, maybe may Achashverosh, maybe may Shvoy the Shoftim, maybe may Amrafel, maybe may Achaz, maybe may Yakim. All terrible tzaras having the Klai from those 5. Oh my Rebbe Levi. We have tradition. Amoitz v'Amatzia. Amoitz was the father of Yeshaya Hanavi. Let's remember that. Amoitz, the father of Yeshaya Hanavi. V'Amatzia was a king of Klai Yisrael, king of Yehuda. They were Achim Havu. They were brothers. Michael Mashmalan, who cares? What difference is it? What? You should know this guy and that guy are brothers. No. So if they are. Says the Gemara, no. It makes an afkimina la halacha. Rav Shmuel, not halacha, but imshat. Rav Shmuel ben Achmeni Omer B'Yonasan. Kol kalo shehi tznuah beis chomiyah. If a daughter-in-law acts with tznius in her father-in-law's house, zoicha v'yoytza mena melachim v'neviim. She could be zoicha to have kings and neviim. Minola mitamar. D'chsev vayireha Yehuda v'yachshavel zayna ki chisis apanel. So the simple pshat in the puzzle. He sees a woman at the fork in the road, and he thought the worst of the worst, Zaina. Why? Because she covered her face. Maybe it's the opposite. She's tznius. Why would he think that? Is going on before that. Because he's never ever seen what his daughter-in-law looks like, because she always covered her face, she acted with tznius. That's why he thought that this woman at the fork road is a Zaina. Well, you have a lot. We'll have a yada. David. David was a descendant. Neviim, don't remember Levi, and this is what we're trying to say, that Amitz and Amatzi were brothers. The Omar Reb Levi, Amitz v'Amatzi achim hayu. Uchsiv chazayin Shayo ber Amitz. So, Yeshayo was the son of Amitz. And because Amitz is a brother of Amatzia, we just discussed that, and Amatzia was a king. So Mela, now we have it all together. Amatzia was the king, and Mela, Amitz was related to Amatzia. In other words, he's a descendant of Tamar. So you see that Tamar had Yeshaya as a descendant. We have a tradition from our forefathers. Good news. I was trying to get permission from Marshall for a while to use this book. It's a beautiful book, almost like a 3D thing of the Beis Hamikdash. And I realized I'm doing it the wrong way. I just called up Arya Morrison, the guy that helps us out with the Gemaras. I said, hook me up. He's in the building with them. So he got me Rishos. There's a picture of the Aron. It's a lot nicer. I can't get the PDF, unfortunately, so I have to take a picture and this and that. Fine. So this is not the quality of the book. It's much better in the book. Halavai Arsko one day will give me the PDF. But anyway, this is the Aron. Luchos, Sefer Torah in here. This represents Torah. And on top of that, you have the Kruvim. This is Gemara, and we learned this a few times. Aron enim namida. It doesn't take up any room, physical room. From here, from the end of the Aron, you have 10 amas to the wall. How big was the Kodesh HaKodashim? I don't have it anymore. They put it away. Yeah, whatever. If you want, bring it in for a second. How big is this? Thank you. How big is this area right over here? Just this? 20 by 20. 20 by 20. Now, if the Aron, you see the Aron is smack in the center. You see it over here. If the Aron is 10, there's 10 amma from the end of the Aron to the wall. And 10 amma from the end of the Aron to the wall. So the Aron couldn't take up any room. The whole, from here to here is 20. So how can you have from the end of the Aron 10 and 10? 10 plus 10 equals 20. And where's the Aron? It doesn't take up any room. Says the Gemara. They say it's not so important to the sugya. Each, the wings, 5 amas, 10 amas, that's amas. So then where was the Aron? Real quickly, you see from this that you saw it in life, and I said it last time we learned the sugya, that Torah is represented. The Aron is Torah. There's a Sefer Torah. The Luchas, Torah doesn't take up any place. In other words, like we saw in this email, I read in the email, the guy said he learns Torah, he doesn't see anything missing. He's not missing time in his day. Certainly, you're not missing any parnasa. Torah doesn't take up any place. Remember that. Now, there's I think 17 different Amoraim, Tanoim, Amoraim, who learned the Megillah, and they're learning the Megillah, they started off like this, different ways. This is how we would start off the Megillah. I'm going to destroy Bavel. What am I going to do? I'm going to destroy Shem, Shar, Vishar, Venin, Venechem, Num Hashem. What does Shem mean? Aksav. I'm going to destroy the writing. No more writing. No more writing in Bavel. Sha'ar, Zeloshan. Sha'ar means their language. Not going to have a language. They have Aramaic. Whatever the other language that they had is gone. Nin, Ze Malchus. They're not going to have any kingdom. Venechet, Zuvash. I'm going to destroy all four of these. So another one. Yeah, the famous pasuk that we learned by Tainus. Instead of a thorn, I'm going to have a brush. Interesting that in Rosh Hashanah, brush was boxwood. Now the Art Scroll translates it as cypress. I go with this one. Beautiful tree. Malchusdik. I don't know why in Rosh Hashanah it was boxwood. I have no idea. Okay. That there's going to be a beautiful adas tree that smells good. Mordechai. Shenikar is the head of all the spices. The bells of Chassid and Kyle told me. I hope somebody could find this for me, so I can have it for tomorrow's shir. Well, for the rest of the Masechta, he said that what is it called that they do the words in Esha Torah, the codes. He said there's a fascinating code. So if somebody can find it, I would like it. I don't know it exactly, but basically, if you take the words in the Megillah, let's say all the words equal 1579. You take it from Mordechai in the Torah, Mardurar, you take it, you end up with, I forgot what, Mordechai. And if you go from Haman, Hamina Eitzazeh, the same amount, 1579, it also adds up. And you go from Esther, Haster, Aser, Padim, 1579, it comes out to the same, 3 times in a row, the same distance of letters. Very interesting code. If somebody knows what I'm talking about, because I don't, let me know. Says the Gemara, Mordechai. Okay, so the Unkelus says Mardurar is Mordechai. Tachas Vashti Rosha, Bas Benosh Rosha, so Refidas Beis Hashem. The daughter, Bas Benoy, the granddaughter of Nebuchadnezzar, who destroyed the resting place of Hashem. This is Refidas is up. Yala Hadas. Instead of that, you're going to have Hadas, which is Esther at Tzaddik Shenikires Hadasa. Shenemar, Yomi Hadasa. V'hoyel Hashem l'shem. Zoi Mikri Megillah, Lois Oilam, Loikaris, we'll never forget it, we'll never stop. Elu Yemei Purim, that is Purim. We have a tremendous daf tomorrow, but we'll stop over here. Have a wonderful day.